Well, let's head to the United Kingdom now, and some potentially good news for South Africa and other developing nations on the vaccine front. But dominating headlines in the UK this evening is the royal family, and I'm joined by our London correspondent, Olly Barratt. Hi there, Olly. So let's start with Harry and Meghan. It was like a sort of trial separation for a year from the royal family, but I believe it's now official.
I think that's a very good way to put it, Sally. Yes, confirmation really of what we knew was the case, which is that Harry and Meghan will not be returning to work on full-time duties on behalf of the royal family. This was confirmed in a statement from Buckingham Palace, and the Queen saying in the statement that they will continue with responsibilities. They will not continue with the responsibilities and duties that come with a life of public service, but saying that they remain very much loved and valued members of the royal family, but at the same time, as a result of this confirmation, taking away some of the patronages that they have enjoyed up to this point and have carried out up to this point, and some of Harry's honorary military titles too. On Harry and Meghan's part, they put out a statement too, saying that service is universal, and saying they will continue to act on behalf of the UK and for causes that they want to continue to support.
All right, let's move on to much more important matters, and of course that's latest news on the vaccine, and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson saying that he may well pledge the excess vaccines that they don't need in the UK to the WHO's COVAX facility. Has that decision been made as yet?
Well, it's been made by the UK, let's put it that way. We've just in the last half hour or so had a communique from the G7 summit, which has been happening virtually, chaired by Boris Johnson, along with Joe Biden and other European and world leaders. What that communique does not include is a commitment from the other G7 countries to do what Boris Johnson had been urging them to do. The UK says it will pledge the majority of its surplus vaccine doses to the COVAX facility at some point when the UK population effectively has been completely vaccinated. What we have had from the United States, from the European Union as well, is extra pledges in terms of funding towards COVAX, running now into the billions of dollars. So much more money going in that direction, perhaps not in exactly the way that Boris Johnson wanted it to, but he has secured extra money. It was interesting going into the G7 summit that Emmanuel Macron, the French president, said that he thinks what European countries should be doing is giving around 5% or up to 5% of their current vaccine supply to developing countries and into the COVAX facility. So some signs of division amongst the G7, but they have, as I say, agreed to send much more money towards the COVAX facility. The key will be exactly when that money translates into extra doses.
That's certainly one to watch. How is the UK's vaccine rollout going? Is it starting to turn the tide on the virus?
It's going very quickly indeed. That's the first thing to say. 25% of the population has now received one vaccine dose, and actually there's been more scientific research published today in the Lancet Medical Journal which suggests that you really do get potentially stronger protection having a gap in the doses of up to 12 weeks, which has been the UK strategy all along. So some vindication for UK scientists in that regard. In terms of the effect that it's having on the cases and fatalities, well, the numbers continue to fall and continue to fall very quickly, and it is over the next 24 hours or so that Boris Johnson is going to be poring over some new data that has come in to the government on the effects of the vaccine rollout so far. So we haven't seen all of those numbers yet, but the bits that have been leaked to the media do suggest that not only are they starting to have an impact on fatalities and cases, but also crucially on the transmission of the virus, and that's considered to be very good news indeed, and will feed into a major speech that Boris Johnson is due to give on Monday, when he will set out what he describes as the roadmap out of the current lockdown restrictions that are in place here.
Is it widely expected that come Monday he might ease restrictions?
He will ease restrictions in the sense that he will set out some targets. We expect that the first thing that he will do is say that schools can go back on March the 8th. And then he'll set out, as I say, this kind of roadmap where you look ahead to March and April, and we'll hear him say probably that hospitality and non-essential retail can start to open up if the data continues to move in the right direction. He does want to be cautious this time around because he's been accused several times previously during this outbreak of moving too quickly or even not enforcing tough enough lockdowns. At the same time, there are Conservative MPs in his own party who are saying don't waste the success of the vaccination rollout. A large chunk of the population now appears to have protection from COVID-19. If we're going to see hospitalizations, and fatalities continuing to fall very rapidly, then let's make the most of that and ease restrictions quickly. Then he's got scientists in his ear as well saying if you do ease restrictions too rapidly, we could, vaccination programme or not, see another spike in infections.
Lots to think about. Thank you very much, Olly Barratt, our correspondent in London.